Hi. Hello. Welcome. Motherfucking welcome to some more Scarlet Hollow. And also, a happy 20-year anniversary to the worst fan fiction in history, My Immortal. It has been 20 years to the day since My Immortal was first posted on fanfiction.net. And if you guys don't know, I have been reposting my VODs on that of me live reading it on YouTube. So if you go to my Twitter, I have links to that. And it's also on my Linktree. I still have yet to set that up on Twitch. I really need to do that. I need to put it on Streamlabs so you guys can get the pop-up for where the VODs are. Whenever you type in !VOD, it should pop up. But I need to set that up. Anyway, who's ready for some Scarlet Hollow? Who's ready for hardcore mode in Scarlet Hollow? So, last we left off, we were at the library with Stella and with Kanika. So, let's get started. Let's go ahead and get started. Stella sets a massive pile of books on the table and pulls up a chair. All right. This is going to be so much faster with the two of you here to help out. Got our snacks, got our books. Let's get this research party started. Reading awaits. Okay. Historical buildings of Scarlet Hollow. Just the thought of reading a book like this would probably put most people to sleep. But you've got a mystery to solve, and to solve it, you need to know everything there is to know about this town. This hollow is kind of Scarlet. So true, bestie. So true. Explore. Scarlet Estate. The Scarlet Estate, inarguably the most striking piece of architecture in Scarlet Hollow, and the most elaborate and elegant estate in the region prior to the construction of the Biltmore in 1895. Andrew Jackson Scarlet chose this location to be atop a hill in Scarlet Hollow's geographic center so that it might be seen from the town below. It remains a constant reminder of the family who carved Scarlet Hollow from the wilderness and provided wealth and prosperity to its residents. Dang, it used to look so good. What the fuck happened? First used as a field hospital during the Civil War, it was named for Silas Scarlet's eldest son, who perished in the bloody conflict. It still stands at the end of what is now the residential district of Scarlet Hollow and has served the health of the community for over 100 years. In the late 1800s, the town prospered from a coal boom. Additions were built onto the house, and it was transformed into a sanatorium, bringing in prestigious clientele from around the world. They believed the fresh mountain air would do them well, and Scarlet Hollow became a tourist destination for patients of all afflictions. The clinic still operates to this day as a doctor's office and stands as a building of cultural significance. Oh, this is where Reese lives, I think. Okay, Scarlet Coal Mines. The original mining facility is no longer standing, having been destroyed in the collapse of 1918. Though the new facility, outfitted with all the cutting-edge technologies of the industry, is in itself a fine example of practical construction, the first iteration of the mining camp was a true product of its time, and what few photographs exist are an interesting peek back at a different era. One can still visit the site of the original Scarlet coal mine, though all that remains are a few abandoned tunnels closed off to the public. Tremaine Homestead. Situated on the edge of Scarlet Hollow's farmlands, the Tremaine Homestead was one of the earliest settlements in Scarlet Hollow, predating even the town's famous coal mines. For many decades, the Tremaine family maintained the largest farm in Scarlet Hollow, but a break in the family led them to split the land in two and the homestead along with it. Despite the many changes made to the two halves of the Tremaine homestead in the subsequent decades, the original log structures are still visible and maintained to this day. They are undoubtedly the oldest buildings left standing in Scarlet Hollow. Scarlet Hollow First Baptist. One of the first buildings constructed by the Scarlet family, the Scarlet Hollow First Baptist Church, still stands on its original foundation, though the building was reconstructed to accommodate the influx of citizens during the Scarlet Hollow coal boom of the late 1800s. A attendance has dwindled since the infamous mine collapse of 1918, and while the building may have fallen into disrepair, its simple vaulted ceilings still evoke awe to any who enter. Okay, Town Hall. Silas Scarlet personally funded the town hall's construction as the first municipal building in the then small community of Scarlet Hollow. It has stood at the end of Main Street since before the Civil War, its white columned edifice withstanding the ravages of the 1860s and continuing to stand to this day, a stunning piece of antebellum architecture. After the town of Scarlet Hollow switched to a dogmare system of government in the 1920s, the building has been put to different use, though the upstairs still house the town archives and a special ceremonial office for events with the mayor. So, the mayor of Scarlet Hollow is a dog. You're done here. Hi, Gretchen, you precious little baby. I need to. Okay. I have to, chat. It's tradition at this point. Copy. Hang on. Okay. I made a funny post. I made a funny. Close the book and put it back. Flip through Veins of Scarlet, a history of the Scarlet Hollow coal mines. Forced into retirement at age 50 due to a war injury from his time in the Indian Wars, exasperated by his short stint serving as a captain in the Confederacy, Silas Scarlet also lost his eldest two sons to that bloodiest of wars, leaving his third eldest son, Andrew Jackson Scarlet, to take charge of the coal mine. Under his leadership, the mine prospered, undoubtedly in part due to the growth of the railroad industry. Managed to evade the coal union for decades, making them one of the most profitable mines in the country, Andrew Scarlet built the surrounding town into what it is today, with expensive stone buildings, a bustling main street, and overseeing it all, the elegant Scarlet estate that was, until 1895, the largest and finest feat of architecture in the region. Culminating in the tragic collapse of 1918, it was found that Charles Shaw, the co-manager of the mine, had loosened security measures to increase production during World War I, resulting in a fatal collapse and the deaths of over 160 men and boys, some as young as 10. The casualties included Andrew Jackson Scarlet's son Theodore, his brother Enoch V Scarlet, who had taken over for their aging father during the bustle of the war, managed to pull the mine from the brink of ruin, thereby saving the town. So this is how your family made its fortune. Silas Scarlet, soldier, woodsman, leader. Silas Everett Scarlet was born to Colonel Everett J. Scarlet in 1818, one of 12 siblings. He grew up in eastern North Carolina during a tumultuous time in the state's history, and not much is known about his life before he joined the Army in 1836. He quickly rose through the ranks, in part due to his father's connections, but also due to a particular ruthlessness for which he received the nickname Bloody Silas Scarlet. The federal government granted the now Captain Silas a tract of bounty land in exchange for his service in the Indian War, and he settled into the hills of North Carolina in 1841. That land would become Scarlet Hollow. But it started as a simple log cabin built by Silas's own two hands, occupied by his family of 10. Silas, his wife Mary Joseph Scarlet, and their 8 children. Logging business brought many workers and fellow landowners to the hills, but it wasn't until Silas discovered rich seams of coal running underneath the entire region that Scarlet Hollow was really put on the map. He saved what he could and bought the surrounding hillside at a great discount, cleverly hiding what he knew about the land's true value. Thus, he had all the resources to found Scarlet Hollow's now famous coal mine. You're finished with this one. Appalachian folk monsters, let's go! A few entries catch your eye. Okay. Mothman. Mothman is a large flying creature, generally described as humanoid, with glowing red eyes. It was first spotted by a couple in West Virginia in the mid 1960s and was encountered in the region several more times in the following years. The Silver Bridge collapse of 1967 has been linked to a series of Mothman sightings, and it's said the presence of the creature served as some sort of omen or was a catalyst that led to the disaster. This has since become an important aspect of Mothman, with sightings of this cryptid often seen as a sign that some great misfortune is soon to follow. Jersey Devil! Though the Pine Barrens, the place where this creature is said to have been born, are far from the Appalachian wilderness, sightings of the Jersey Devil have been documented all throughout the forests of the eastern United States. According to popular legend, the Jersey Devil was born to a woman named Jane Leeds. Leeds, upon realizing she was pregnant with her 13th child and daunted by the task of giving birth yet again, cursed the child in her womb, proclaiming it would be the devil itself. Though born as a normal child, it quickly transformed, gaining a goat or horse's head, large bat wings, and a forked devil's tail. Kicking at the family and lashing out with its tail, it flew up the chimney and out into the night, disappearing into the Pine Barrens. The Jersey Devil is one of the oldest cryptids in North American history, with sightings spanning back through the 1800s all the way to the origin of the myth in the late 1700s. It's said to move with incredible speed and is recognizable by its high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. Ginseng babies. It's safe to say life was hard in the South after the Civil War. The land and its people had been ravaged by conflict, and many turned to unusual industries to get by. One such industry was that of ginseng diggers, or sang diggers as they were colloquially, known, who eked out a meager living for themselves by digging up and selling wild American ginseng. Myths surrounding sang diggers were plentiful, but most prominent among them was that of the ginseng baby. It was said that if you dig up a ginseng root on the night of the new moon, it will cry like an infant and leave blood in the earth where it is torn free. So, mandrakes. Got it. Parallels to European mandrake. There it is. To European mandrake myths are clear, and it can be assumed this myth arose from cross-pollination from European immigrants. But perhaps on the night of the new moon, you should go out and dig up a ginseng root, see if it cries, and check the earth for its blood. For it could be that the myth spread not through legends passed through immigrant families, but from the unsettling experiences of these Appalachian foragers. The Bell Witch! One of the most famous hauntings in North American history, the Bell Witch was a strange entity that plagued the citizens of the Red River region of Tennessee in the early 1800s. Many strange phenomena have been attributed to this witch through the years, but the most famous was the haunting of the Bell family. It started out as a fairly typical haunting with unnatural sounds echoing throughout the house after sundown, and the appearance of a strange mammal that no one could identify or capture. Unlike other hauntings, though, these acts quickly escalated to attacks on the family, and in particular, the daughter Elizabeth Bell. She was constantly covered in bruises from the spirit's abuse. The spirit could frequently be heard speaking through the walls, its disembodied voice mocking the family and any visitors, and it eventually escalated to giving, "Hi, Mina! Hi!" It's okay that you can't stay. We're just reading the cryptid book right now. And it eventually escalated to giving full-blown hallucinations to those dwelling in the Bell House. Though this haunting ended in the early 1800s, its activity continued in the region for many decades. It could be that the entity known as the Bell Witch may still dwell in the Red River region to this day. Hopkinsville Goblins. The Hopkinsville Goblins case was a supposed close encounter with extraterrestrials in 1950s near Hopkinsville, Kentucky. During the incident, 5 adults and 7 children arrived at the local police station claiming that a group of small, chrome creatures had besieged their farmhouse for hours. When police arrived on the scene, they found bullet holes and spent shells, but little else in the way of evidence. Skeptics suggest the family had simply misidentified a group of great horned owls. Even so, the incident remains one of the most thoroughly corroborated and documented cases of extraterrestrial contact. Wampus cat! Wampus cat! Often linked to Cherokee legends, some cite the Wampus cat as originating with the story of a woman who sought vengeance against a monstrous cat demon for driving her husband mad. She hunted it down, and by wearing a bobcat mask, tricked it into using its own vile magic on itself, freeing the people of their region from its evil. Others say the creature comes from the story of a woman who wore the pelt of a wildcat to witness forbidden hunting rites. The hunters of her village gathered to perform the rites, and she watched in secret from underneath the cat's pelt, but was soon discovered. For her indiscretion, she was fused with the pelt and transformed into a creature that was neither human nor cat, forced to wander the wilderness alone, feared by all. Her calls are those of great sadness and serve as a warning to anyone who dares go against tradition. Ooh, spooky. Tommyknockers! Tommyknockers originated in Cornish mythology, spreading to the United States when Cornish immigrants began working with Appalachian mines. They're named for the knocking that can be heard from seemingly within the walls before a cave-in. Yeah. Cornwall is where a lot of the diggers and miners for the British war efforts back in medieval times came from. Yeah, that's a thing. According to some, the knocking serves as a benevolent warning. Others believe that the creatures take stolen hammers to the supports of mines and collapse them on whoever is unfortunate enough to still be inside. They are traditionally thought to be impish, leprechaun-like beings, but some claim they are the spirits of dead miners, forever cursed to haunt their final resting place. Taily-po! There was a hunter who lived in a tiny cabin in the middle of the woods, all alone with his hunting dog. One night, after a particularly bad week of hunting, both their stomachs empty, the hunter spied something out the corner of his eye. Some small creature had gotten into the cabin through a hole, and before he could even figure out what it was, he'd drawn his gun and fired at the thing, his hunger guiding his actions. But it was quick and ran back through its hidey hole and out of sight, leaving only its long black tail, shot off by the hunter's rifle. "Guess this'll have to do," he said to his dog, and threw the tail in a pot to cook a soup. He and his dog ate well that night, the tail filling them both up. The hunter crawled into his bed, satisfied, and his dog curled up at his feet. He woke up to the sound of long nails scrabbling against the wood. His dog was nowhere in sight, only a rumpled spot on the covers where he'd been. And in the gloom, he saw two big, yellow eyes staring right at him. "I want my taily-po," a high, hoarse voice croaked from the darkness. "Go away!" he screamed at the thing. But it stepped closer to him, still shrouded in darkness. The sound of long claws dragging against hardwood, accompanying its movements. "I want my taily-po," the creature growled again. "I'll get my dog after you," the hunter squeaked, his voice catching in his throat with fear. there was no dog to be seen. I want my taily po! Before the hunter could so much as scream, the creature leapt from the darkness. Long claws stretched out towards the hunter. No one is sure what the creature did to him that night, but the next morning, all that remained of the hunter, his dog, and his cabin was a chimney, standing alone in the woods. You're done here. Close the book and put it back. Think I'm all done. Let's check in. All right, if we're going with what Kanika's mom told us last night, I think we can rule out any natural disasters as what brought the ditchlings here. But not nuclear incidents. Looks like our state has history with those. What about y'all? Find anything? Before you can respond, a handsome black cat leaps onto the table. Almost on instinct, Stella slams her book shut. Aww, hey Pixel. You might want to close your book. He loves to rip up any paper he can find. Pixel, my dear friend, it's been too long. How have you been? Hungry. Did Stella bring the good stuff? Don't worry, little guy. I didn't forget your treats. Oh, yeah. Snack time. Sorry if Pixel's bothering y'all. Hopefully he hadn't gobbled up any of our books. He can't stand the thought that people might pay attention to anything that isn't him. Talk to animals. Hey, Pixel. What do you think about the monsters we saw in the woods? I'm an indoor cat. I don't know nothing about no woods. I just hang out in the library, especially now that our house got haunted. Pixel says your house is haunted. What's up with that? Haunted? Wait, Pixel said. So it is true then? Yes, at least I think it is. There isn't any other explanation. She's either psychic or she can talk to animals. It's a long story. No comment. We've been living in the library for a little bit. It's been great. Way more snacks. Way more scritches. Except sometimes there's too much scritches. Hold up. What kind of haunting are we talking about here? Unexplained noises, objects appearing in strange and unfamiliar places? Oscar, don't get her hopes up like that. Nothing like that, sorry. The floor in Rosalina's bedroom just keeps seeping blood, and I've seen a strange figure in the hallway a couple of times. Wait, you've seen a full body apparition? Can I see it? Stella is me for real, chat. Genuinely, she is really me. Stella, how many times have you gone on ghost hunts and been tricked by shadows? You know what it's gonna be. But what if it's an actual ghost? She is so me. She is so me for real, for real. It's worth looking into. Y'all are more than welcome to check it out. Maybe tomorrow night? Yes, we'll be there. Yeah, that sounds like a fun way to spend an evening. Can't wait to get spooked by some creaky floorboards. Okay, leave Pixel be. You decide to leave Pixel be. The cat curls up on the table, fast asleep. Oh my god, Gretchen, don't give me those eyes. Gretchen. Gretchen, girl. Look at her. Look at her. She's just like... Look at her. She's so cute. I fucking love this dog. Alright, I better get back to shelving. Let me know if y'all need anything. Let's go with Explore Booksmart. All right. Let's talk about historical buildings of Scarlet Hollow. Oh my god, you read that? That book was assigned as punishment if we misbehaved in school. It's an excellent sleep aid. NyQuil and melatonin have nothing on historical buildings of Scarlet Hollow. Rumor has it that nobody has read it from cover to cover. You guys are missing out. That's one of my favorite books here. Such rich history. Guess we're just kindred spirits. Stella, when were you gonna tell me that the mayor is a dog? Should I pick that, Belgian? Stella, when were you gonna tell me that the mayor is a dog? Ah, darn. I was hoping it'd be a surprise. Scarlet Hollow hadn't had a human mayor since the 1920s. Yeah, if you were hoping the mayor might be able to help us out here, you're out of luck. I'm afraid it's true. Mayor Jimmy is a rascal and not to be trusted. Now hold up, Kanika. Can't she talk to animals? Maybe she can get the mayor to help. Stella, how would that even work? It's not like we can just tell people the mayor told her to listen to them. I can't believe I'm even talking about this. You're right, though. You're right. Back to our mayorless drawing board. What happened to the estate? At some point, the hill it was built on started falling apart. I think it's pretty stable at this point, though. Is it? Stella, you've seen the place. And half of it is still mostly okay. Let's talk about the Tremaine house homestead. Tremaine homestead seems like the only thing here that doesn't have the Scarlet name stamped on it. Yeah, I think they've been around these parts even longer than your family, though they're the Tremaines and the Callaways now. They literally split their farmhouse in half over that schism. Duke, rest his soul, was one of the last two Callaways left. Guess it's just down to Bo now. I can't imagine what he's going through right now. Even the hospital here is named after my family. I know it's in the name, but calling it a hospital's generous. Right now, it's a one-woman medical clinic. If any serious emergencies happen these days, we gotta call an ambulance from out of town. That's where Reese and his mom live. She's a town doctor, though these days she doesn't really see a lot of patients. Why don't people go to church here? We just never really had a good pastor around these parts. Not as long as I've been around, at least. And I'm not really much of a church person anyway. It's time. Building gives off weird vibes, too, and not in the fun, haunted way. About the coal mines. So, about the coal mines here. Kanika visibly shudders. I get cold sweats just thinking about being in a place like that. I feel for the guys who work up there. I could never. Speak for yourself. I love a good crevasse. What happened after the mine collapse? The book just kind of glosses over that. There was union for a little bit, but it didn't last. There's not a whole lot written about the past century here. Yeah, the Scarlet Hollow mine isn't exactly the most ethically run business. Sure, Tabby runs the mines better than Charles Shaw did. Still hadn't let the union in, though. There's a reason she and I don't talk. Book smart. History tends to be written by winners. Maybe there's more to Charles Shaw's story than these dusty old books are letting on. Is it too loud? Like, is the volume of the game too loud? Okay. Just double checking. Normally, I'd be inclined to agree with you there, but we're talking about an old-timey coal boss. I'd be shocked if he wasn't cutting corners. She does make a fair point. Shaw was certainly a problematic figure, but there might be other details that were lost to time. Sure, but the guy was run out of town on a rail. And that's not a figure of speech. Back then, they actually tied you to a rail and ran you out of town. There's a big mural of it over on the far wall. He got off easy, if you ask me. A union-busting mine collapsed from poor working conditions. Color me shocked. Yeah, it's pretty awful. That's what that sculpture out front is for, commemorating all the men and children who died that day. Every kid in Scarlet Hollow learns about the collapse of 1918. Our teachers love to emphasize how many children they had working down there, probably to try and show us how good we have it or whatever. Low bar, if you ask me. You know, that could be what the ditchlings are warning us about. Another collapse. Writing it down on the list of potential disasters. I like her little drawing of the ditchling. Look at that. Look at it. It's so fucking cute. I love it. It's wonderful. Eesh, Stella, that's morbid. Besides, it was all Charles Shaw's fault. The labor market's way more strict now. There's no way you could get away with that kind of safety cutbacks he pulled. Y'all don't think the mine's about to collapse, right? No, I don't think so. Phew. Had me worried there for a second. I hate to give Tabitha any credit, but the mine's safer now than it was back then. Still, what a horrible thought. You never know. Okay, what choice should we go with, Belgian? Come here. Come look. I agree with Stella. What if the ditchlings are coming from the mines? What if there's something toxic? Wayne seems sick. I'm not sure I agree with the collapse angle. The mines seem too obvious, or let's move on. What if the ditchlings are coming from the mines? I don't know. I kind of want to bring in Wayne because Kanika's mom knows who Wayne is enough that she's able to just like tell him off. So I want to know more about that. And I'm thinking maybe Kanika will say something if we mention Wayne. And this is one of those I can't change, I can't go back kind of options. I'm gonna go ahead and say. Which one should we pick? Okay. Let's check. Let's see if she knows anything more about Wayne. And if that doesn't lead anywhere, then we can always go back to the previous save. Because I just saved. So. But if there's something toxic in the mines poisoning the town, Wayne seems sick. That creep who keeps coming around my mom's tea room? Snuck up on us last night and called her out by name. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with him. Maybe there's some sort of parasite down in the mines. Maybe it infected Wayne, and maybe Wayne infected the local wildlife. Huh. Yeah, that could work. Stella, what was that you said about nuclear incidents? You were talking about that Goldsboro thing, right? Yeah, apparently in the 60s, a B-52 carrying a live warhead broke up midair and dropped a couple of bombs. Fascinating bit of history there. First, the 2 bombs landed upright after its parachute got caught in a tree. Thankfully, it didn't go off. At the time, the government claimed the bomb was unarmed, but later came out that the only thing preventing a detonation was a single electrical switch, which failed to trigger on the descent. 6 years later, the second bomb still hadn't been recovered. Right. It's a conventional explosive disintegrated midair, but most of the nuclear material was made unrecoverable by flooding. If I remember correctly, they just buried it and sealed it up.
I'm sorry, did you say they buried it? Y'all need something dug up, because if so, I'm your gal.
Oh god, we're screwed. I like that. I don't think disarming nuclear bombs is part of our skill set. Goldsboro is over 300 miles from here. I don't think we have to be worried about that. Yeah, that sounds best. Goldsboro is over 300 miles from here. I don't think we have to be worried about that. Yeah, that's fair. Wouldn't make sense for ditchlings to be here, specifically, if that was the case, too. We also really shouldn't be looking too much into this whole disaster angle. Whatever those creatures are, they're biological. You never know with radiation. We actually know quite a bit. It just melts you. It doesn't make monsters. And a 60-year-old bomb isn't gonna explode on its own hundreds of miles away and kill us here. You never know. There could always be a whole underground society of bomb-worshipping mutants just waiting to blow it up. I've missed this. She really is me, for real. Jesus, I say shit like that constantly. Any luck with Rosalina? Not yet. I knew a teen would be a handful, but I didn't think it'd happen overnight. I'll probably head out once you're all done and check in on her usual haunts. Yelena quietly whispered to Stella and Kanika. Do you guys think there's, like, a cult here? Maybe the ditchlings were, like, summoned as part of a ritual or something like that. Seems unlikely. Talk about Silas Scarlet. So, Silas Scarlet. What a revisionist biography. Really glosses over all the war crimes to paint a picture of a self-made man. It's a perfect example of why you should use multiple sources for your research instead of trusting the first thing you read on a subject. Yep. Dude was a monster. Sorry you're related to him. Okay, options. Once you get back to the computer. Options. Do you think the ditchlings are here for retribution? This town is stuck in the past and built on atrocities. It's already practically collapsing into itself. No offense. He seems like a terrible person, but I don't see what that has to do with bad omens or creatures in the woods. I don't think he's really relevant to whatever is happening right now. Second one. Okay, Belgian says second one, so we're gonna pick the second one. The town is stuck in the past and built on atrocities. It's already practically collapsing onto itself. No offense, but maybe that's why the ditchlings are here. None taken. Why would the ditchlings be here now, though? Scarlet Hollow's been like this for as long as I can remember. Talk about Appalachian folk monsters. So, Appalachian folk monsters. Do you think the ditchlings are Tommyknockers? There's some striking similarities. Do you think Wayne is a Tommyknocker? There's some striking similarities between Mothman and ditchlings. Let's go with that. There's some striking similarities between Mothman and ditchlings. Both of them are portents of doom. Mothman. Love that guy. There's a whole subgenre of cryptids that serve as bad omens, but the disaster angle is definitely a clear connection. Maybe Mothman is what happens when the ditchlings all grow up. But they're already reproducing. And they don't have wings, and they're pale and blobby. They have a certain caterpillar vibe, don't they? Why am I even engaging with you on this? Portents of doom aren't real. Do you think Wayne is a Tommyknocker?
Maybe he's the ghost of a dead miner.
There's something seriously wrong with that guy, and we should definitely look into it, but I don't think he's a ghost.
Yeah, ghosts tend to be tied to a specific place.
So maybe he's haunting the whole town. He's not a ghost because ghosts aren't real. I've also seen him, like, touch stuff. I wonder if there are any parallels between the Bell Witch and whatever's haunting Oscar's house. That's a thought. You can circle back on that tomorrow. Please, for my own sanity, let's stay focused on just the one paranormal incident.
Which is why we're circling back on it tomorrow.
My mom used to tell me that Taily Poe story. I'd totally forgotten about it. I love the Taily Poe story. I've read multiple versions of it. It's great.
My mom used to tell me that Taily Poe story back when I was little. Can't believe I forgot that one. It scared me so bad I didn't eat soup for years. Thought a monster might try and dig it out of my stomach if I did.
I love that one. There's this old chimney in the woods I used to think was the chimney from Taily Poe, that one that was left after the thing did whatever it did. Now I know that's just because chimneys don't burn down and wooden houses do. That doesn't mean it's not the chimney from Taily Poe. I've camped out there a couple times and seen some pretty spooky stuff. Yeah, I watched that video. You saw raccoons. You're gonna get rabies one of these days chasing after wildlife like that. What can I say? I like to live on the edge. Why is the Jersey Devil even in this book?
Pine Barrens are specifically not in Appalachia.
Because he's cool? Jersey Devil's like the great granddaddy of North American cryptids, and it's kind of close to Appalachia.
Back when I was a kid, I always wanted one as a pet.
Stella, that beast would tear you to shreds.
I'm all the pet you need.
I've never even heard of ginseng babies before this. Oh yeah, that myth is pretty buried. The author managed to unearth it for this book. Get it? But seriously, whoever wrote this book definitely stretched things out so they could include some of their favorite stuff, like how the Jersey Devil's in it. Have you seen what ginseng roots look like, though? Creepy stuff. Creepy, but incapable of screaming. Yeah, that's one of those things that even I don't buy into. Wampus cats sound like they could be mountain lions. Voice like a woman crying out somewhere between person-sized and cat-sized? Definitely, there are 100% mountain lions.
Mika, you know there are no mountain lions up here. I thought you were supposed to be a skeptic. Oh, Stella, one of these days you'll trust us.
But the myths are old, right? Mountain lions didn't go extinct in the Appalachians that long ago. Those legends just haven't died off yet. Almost every cryptid can be tracked down to either a hoax or someone getting confused by a perfectly normal animal. Sometimes both. Bigfoot, for instance, started as a prank. Then folks saw bears walking around on their hind legs and got freaked out, and now here we are. You'll eat those words when I get the first clear footage of Bigfoot. If you manage that, I will print out a piece of paper that says Bigfoot isn't real and literally eat it. I promise. I'm holding you to it.
Hopkinsville goblins were silvery, small, and traveled in a pack. There's a lot of similarities to ditchlings there.
Those are 100% confirmed aliens, though. Unless...
The Hopkinsville's goblins were just a couple owls some drunk farmer saw at 3 a.m. They ain't aliens, and before you say it, no, ditchlings ain't aliens either. The whole implanting thing we saw last night feels consistent with stories about aliens. Should we go with that option? The whole implanting thing we saw last night feels consistent with stories about aliens. It's as consistent with stories about aliens as it is consistent with stories about parasites. And parasites just feel a lot more plausible to me. Oh, come on, Neeks. Let a little joy into your heart. I let joy into my heart when this mystery's solved and I don't gotta worry about some parasite gonna lay eggs in my skin. Let's move on. Mines are the obvious common thread between everything we've researched. Between Wayne, the old collapse, and the fact that the whole town's practically been built around them, they're the smartest place to start our investigation. Good idea. There's an awful lot of mines-related stuff in my notes. We can poke around, find out if anybody's seen anything weird. Just to clarify, you two are suggesting we go to question some of the miners, right? We are not poking around unprepared in the actual mines, right? Right? Yeah, totally, 100%. I would never. We don't even have a good reason to go down there. Good. Let's keep it that way. You know how I feel about mines. I promise, Neeks, we're just gonna go question some of the miners. And if that questioning gives us good reason to poke around, say a cool abandoned coal mine, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You can cross that bridge when we come to it. I ain't going underground. Just messing with you. We'll stick to the surface. Yeah, and hopefully we can find out what's wrong with Wayne while we're at it. I'm sure Tabitha's gonna love that we're snooping around. Maybe Tabitha can help us out. Hopefully this will mean I get a chance to get to know Tabitha a little better. Alright, but let's try and stay under the radar. Awesome, let's roll. Which one should we pick? We have a lot of options here. Tabitha's our cousin, yes. No, we cannot kill our cousin. Belgian thinks that we should be sarcastic. I kind of agree with him. I'm sure Tabitha's gonna love that we're snooping around. We'll just have to make sure we don't get caught. We'll be super sneaky. I can even keep lookout. Look at us, going out on a caper together. I missed this. I missed it too. Though, there is something missing. Reese. I really missed that dude. I can't believe how long it's been. Have you seen him lately? Nope. I tried to plan stuff, but he's been too sick. I didn't realize it was getting so bad. That poor guy. You know, we could just pop over and surprise him. Seemed excited to meet her. Maybe we'll finally get him to leave his little cave. Hell yeah, let's do it. See you, Oscar. We'll let you know if we run into Rosalina. Thanks, guys. I'll keep y'all posted. Woo! Let's go. Reese's home stands at the edge of the forest wall, an isolated buffer cushioning the rest of the town from an unending wilderness. Unlike several of the other entries in historical buildings of Scarlet Hollow, this one still looks mostly like it did in the book. Reese! It's Stella! I brought some buddies, too! Shh, not so loud. He's still sleeping. Can I help you with something? The woman in the doorway stares directly into your eyes. You can practically feel her simmering irritation washing over you. Hi, Dr. Kelly. We were wondering if it would be okay if Reese could come hang out. Nothing strenuous, we promise. I am not going to wake him up. If he's sleeping, he probably needs it. Whatever you two have planned is probably beyond what he can manage right now anyway. Oh no. Poor Reese. It's just been so long since either of us have gotten the chance to hang out with him. I'm sure him and Tempest would get along super well, too. Offer her the boiled peanuts. You hold out your pungent bag of peanuts. Maybe you can bribe Reese's mom into letting him hang out with you. He can eat peanuts. Reese's mom turns back to the house, sighing. Sorry, I know that was a little rude. You just want to hang out with Reese, and he misses both of you, too. He's usually feeling his best around mid-afternoon. Why don't you come over tomorrow? We can have some supper, and y'all can hang out for a bit. Don't promise that it'll be perky, but I'm sure it'll brighten his spirits to see you two again. And I suppose you can come, too. That'd be great. I can bring a side dish. Maybe deviled eggs. Does he still eat those? No, eggs are a little mush for him. They don't settle well. You can leave the cooking to me. I know what he can handle. Okay, I'll bring soda then. It's not... Okay, yes, fine. You can bring soda. Nothing with caffeine. Ginger ale, preferably. Oh, and leave the dog at home. She might cheer him up. You know they have those therapy dogs in hospital. No dogs! Never. The absolute gall. I like her shirt. Can we just appreciate Stella's shirt for a moment? It's the same. Let's go. Ghost Tracks, San Antonio, Texas. Let's go. Fuck you, Belgium. Let's go. San Antonio shirt. I'm happy. Thanks so much, Dr. Kelly. We'll stop bothering you now. See you later. Dr. Kelly nods in acknowledgement and quickly shuts the door. Sound of several locks clicking into place can be heard from within. God, that woman makes me so nervous. She used to be so nice when we were kids. Always had the best stickers when we had to get our shots. Maybe she's just stressed about Reese. Or maybe she's just nice to kids. Either way, I guess it's just the three of us. You gonna drive? Yeah, sorry. I don't like the thought of going up there without the van. Cool. I'll take my shortcut then. It shouldn't take long for me to get there. You're welcome to tag along. Don't worry, I won't be offended if you'd rather ride with Kanika. I'm sure you're probably sick of the woods. Either way works for me. Okay, I'm going to save, and then I'm going to go ahead and head out for the night. So, save slot. Return. Okay, chat. Well, I love you guys whether you're old here. I want to thank you guys for showing up. Sorry if I'm not as perky as I normally am, but, you know, Belgian is leaving at the end of the week, and I am starting to get a little bit sad about it. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We will survive. I will survive a whole weekend without him. As long as he doesn't get stabbed while he's in Manchester. I love you guys whether you're old here. I want to thank you guys for showing up. Tomorrow, we will not be streaming as per usual, and instead, we will be streaming on Thursday, where we will be reviving... We are reviving the analog horror watch parties with... What was the title again? Double check that. We are going to be reviving our normalized schedule from last year of analog horror watch parties with Glendale Archives. So be there on Thursday or be square. I love you guys whether you're old here. I want to thank you guys for showing up today, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye.